because I'm letting my hair air dry, I am trying to be black. What happens though when your ancestry or your ancestors don't match the reflection that you see looking back at you in the mirror? What color are you? Are you with the whites? Are you with the blacks, the browns? Are you with the yellows? Are you with the reds? Is this whole channel some sort of Rachel Dolezal style ideation about wishing they were black after finding some small unexpected ancestry? Hi, I'm Danielle Romero. Thank you so much for being with me here on my channel where we talk about American identity and family stories. And I started this channel about a year ago looking for my own family story, which at first led me down to Louisiana to reconnect with family and understand why my great-grandmother had hidden her heritage. And if you haven't seen Finding Lola, that's the docu-series, I'm going to leave a link to that below. Over the course of this year, I've worked on my Italian ancestry. I plan on working more on my Irish ancestry, which I don't know a ton about. So this has been very much a learning experience. Like, you and I were doing this together. A lot of people have been with me since the Finding Lola days. And it's taken me on this beautiful journey of uncovering the way our ancestor stories come together and tell a community story, tell a nation's story. But along the way, I've definitely had some less than savory comments, and I've done 2 videos kind of trolling the trolls, and those are super fun. But this video is not going to be quite like that. There were 2 comment strings that were troubling. They were pretty troubling, and I think that they are worth having a conversation together. And so I want to do that together with you right now. But before we do that, if you would like an ad-free experience, you can go to my Patreon where I am uploading my content ad-free, and it's $3 a month starting to have no commercials, and we can connect, and I'll leave a link to that below. And I also just rolled out some merch. I am so excited about this. So I have this really cool sweatshirt, and this was only for folks who were signed up for the newsletter. It was a limited run of 100. And so those went out to them. But now I have these t-shirts, which are for everybody. And I'm going to leave a link to those below. But they say be a good ancestor, and they're so cool. I'm going to make sure I wear my sweatshirt next time I do a video. Now, when we talk about identity, and we're talking about family stories, and people are like, well, is this a history channel? Like, what's going on here? Like, is this a history channel? But it's also made up of a tapestry of family stories. And when we talk about family stories, it's invariably going to connect to ancestry and identity. And when we talk about identity, that's such a deeply personal conversation. It's complex. The simple act of trying to define yourself can become, at least for me, it feels kind of like a public spectacle sometimes. Are you white? Do you check white? These questions, they seem straightforward, but they are just laden with things that I want to unpack with you here today. I want to show you 2 sets of comments. Before we do that, I want to set the stage. My identity, the core of who I am, begins with my faith. I am a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. That is the anchor of my existence. This experience here on earth is temporal, whether or not you believe that there's an afterlife or what happens beyond, this is a temporary experience. The bodies we are in are temporary. And yes, the experiences that we have in these bodies matter. And these experiences are real and they matter, but they're not everything. And so beyond that, the next step, I'm a wife. I've been married for almost 15 years. I am a mother. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. That comes before everything else, and it matters more than anything else. But when we have conversations about identity, it gets myopic. It's a single aspect, like your race, and not even your race. It's usually what color are you? Are you with the whites? Are you with the blacks, the browns? Are you with the yellows? Are you with the reds? Now, what's interesting to me is that we don't really say yellows and reds anymore, but we definitely still do black, white, and brown. Okay, so food for thought. So the first one was from someone named Jay Crizzle, and they said, is this whole channel some sort of Rachel Dolezal style ideation about wishing they were black after finding some small unexpected ancestry results? So what this person is saying, they're equating me to Rachel Dolezal, who was someone who pretended to have African-American black ancestry. Not even lied about it, did fake tanning, had her hair permed. They're saying that's what is happening here on my channel. And they went on to say that I was clearly struggling with an identity crisis based on my work and my evolving personal appearance. That was kind of confused about the evolving personal appearance, because the only thing that's happened on this channel is that I've decided to stop using chemicals on my hair to relax it. And I've had kind of a back and forth relationship with my hair my whole life. I did a whole video on that. If you want to see that, I will link to it below. And Jay Krizzle said, well, this health fashion decision was made totally by coincidence. At the same time you discovered your roots seems like a backwards realization, or seems like a backward rationalization. So Jay Krizzle is saying that I have to rationalize, justify letting my hair air dry the way it is. And that because I'm letting my hair air dry, I am trying to be black, or I'm trying to pretend to be something I'm not, like Rachel Dolezal. You know, it's something really interesting to think about how small changes to your appearance, you can be received so differently. I went to Disney World like 10 years ago, and I was walking around through Epcot. If you know what Epcot is, it's just really, I love Epcot. Basically, folks from different countries work at Disney representing their country, and you can like go to a restaurant that has Moroccan food and kind of be in that area, and you can go to Italy and have like Italian food, whatever that means, and all of that. And it's just kitschy and it's super fun. I remember we were walking through one of the little shops in like the fake Morocco, just looking around, and a guy came up to me, and he was working in the Morocco shop, and he's like, where are you from? And I was like, New York. And he's like, no, where are you really from? And I was like, New York. And it turned out like he thought I was from Morocco, like him, and he was really excited. And I had my hair natural. I had been in the sun because it was Florida. And it's just so interesting how these perceptions can change, and how they can, you know, are you allowed to represent your heritage if your hair is curly? But what if my hair was straight? Would I still be allowed to acknowledge those ancestors? That's a really important question. So the other conversation I want to share with you is from Benjamin Gunn. And this person, I would say not harassing me, but they're kind of being annoying. And I want to read a couple of the things that they have said on a lot of videos, stuff like this. A question to the host: you are classified as a white person. What does that mean to you? I remember reading it and thinking like, what? Am I? I don't know. Who's classifying me? Basically responded with that. And they said, my question is regarding the period in your life when you did check the white box. You classified yourself as being a part of the white team. And it goes on, it's like, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, did I? So I don't look at this as being on teams. And this is part of the reason why I reject these color groupings, because a lot of people do see it as a team. You know, I think this raises a bunch of practical questions possibly for people who are reconnecting. I have a lot of Irish ancestry. I don't know what happened if I went to Ireland and like tried to start that process of reconnecting. I actually have considered looking at the process of getting Irish citizenship. I want to reconnect to all the places I can possibly reconnect to. That is extremely important to me. I'm looking at the process of doing Italian citizenship. I have been looking at reconnecting to the places where my indigenous ancestors went through the missions, where they were baptized into the Catholic Church in Texas, or what is now Texas. I went to Louisiana, and I'm reconnecting with my enslaved ancestors' stories. There is a whole host of beautiful ancestor stories that are in your family tree, that are in my family tree. So one of my ancestors, I went on this journey last year, Noel Coinde. He was an enslaved man, maybe like in his 20s. He lived on a plantation, and I wanted to touch the bricks that he had made. And I went on this journey of trying to reconnect to that land, reconnect to the bricks. And I found the land that he had been enslaved on. But that story was not what I expected. And so I can leave a link to that video below if you'd like to see that journey. Really, it created some questions for me and for other people, that I was there as a direct descendant, this was my fifth grandfather, of an enslaved man who was listed as Negro by his owners. There was when one of the owners had passed away, there was a list of all the property, and my fifth grandfather was listed on there as part of that property. What happens though when your ancestry or your ancestors don't match the reflection that you see looking back at you in the mirror? Now, the struggle with identity, I think in general, stems from a couple key issues. One is that we base things on skin tone. This is like the most visible marker. One that I think precedes introductions and informs first impressions, and unfortunately, it often invites judgment. But this tells you nothing of somebody's story, their ancestry or their experiences. And so, I don't know what Jay Krizzle is thinking in their, innermost thoughts, but it seems to me that there is this equation of, well, Black people have curly hair. So if you're wearing your hair natural, you're trying to be Black. You're trying to be something that you are not. When really, I took a shower this morning and my hair air dried, and this is what I got. This is what my hair has always looked like. I have pictures as a baby with my hair like this. Sometimes I straighten it, sometimes I color it, but at the end of the day, this is my hair. And I'm not going to look like every ancestor in the family tree, and that is okay. And that is okay for you too. There's this pressure to choose a side, to align with a side, as if we can split our heritage down the middle. And so this is part of the reason why I just have wholly rejected these crayon colors. It's like there are these gatekeepers out there looking to see if I have a misstep. As soon as my hair is not relaxed anymore, I'm becoming a Rachel Dolezal. It's like they can't handle it. Having a physical appearance that maybe doesn't even clearly align with one specific heritage maybe can make identity a bit of a puzzle. This is not a regular history channel. This is not a faceless history channel where, the narrator is hiding behind the curtain like, Wizard of Oz. I'm here. Really, the way that I am living my life and the way that I'm raising my children is to be a good ancestor. And part of that is just embracing everything that you've been given and passing it on with joy. And we'll talk soon.